Human beings are the most hypocritical beings when it comes to giving advice and helping one another. Like, we are so good at giving advice and helping other people when it comes to, their issues and their problems. But when it comes to our own issues and our own problems and the things that we're struggling and going through, we have such a hard time taking our own advice. The advice that we give to people, we are amazing at giving advice to others. But when it comes to taking our own advice, we end up struggling and working it against us. Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to discuss how to live how to actually take the advice that you give to other people and apply it into your own life. Welcome to Unscripted, where we talk about everything from happiness and health to live a more happier and healthier life. I'm Matthew Leszczynski, or I don't know why I say my last name, but I'm Matthew. If you're new here, subscribe. I love each and every one of you. Let's get right into it. So do you remember a time when one of your friends, colleagues, family members was going through a tough situation? They're telling you about it, and you know all the answers, and you know everything to tell this person, everything you want to help them. Hey, don't stress, you're gonna make it through it, life just happens, or whatever moment they're going through. Let's just call it, a breakup. Your friend's going through a breakup and you're saying, hey, it's going to be all right. Life's gonna figure its way out. There's always, another girl, another guy for you out there. And, life just has a way of figuring things out. God works in mysterious ways. Like, you just come up with all these things to help ease their mind, and just all the things to say in that moment to help your friend, to help your colleague, to help your mom, to help your daughter, whatever it may be. But then let's say you're going through that same exact situation. You're going through a breakup, for example, and then on the inside it feels like you're shutting down. You don't know what's going on with your life, and you just have no idea how to get through it, how to move through it, or how to deal with this situation. The first step in taking the advice that you give to other people is recognizing that, hey, I can give you have to learn, at least how I managed to deal with this was, I had to learn to become my best therapist, right? Because you are going to deal with a lot of shit in this life. Life is just going to consistently try to, push you down. You're going to constantly go through things, and it's just going to be a constant test. And the better that you become at recognizing those moments where you notice your emotion or your emotional state, whether it's stressed, angry, sad, the better that you become at recognizing your emotional state, the better you will be able to take the advice that you give to yourself. I am a person who understands his own emotional state because I don't try to cope, numb, or hide any of the things that I feel. When I feel a certain thing, I try to, number one, analyze and understand, okay, what is it that I'm exactly feeling? Am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling worried, nervous? And the moment that I identify what it is that I'm feeling, it is so much easier for myself to give advice to myself and deal with that certain emotional state that I'm in than it would be to just, sit with it and wonder, okay, why am I feeling this way? And and just end up going into a spiral. So the way to do this is to become your own internal analyst. What does that mean? We analyze, certain situations, certain experiences, but some of us just let it overlook ourselves. But when you really sit down and actually write down, for example, like the best thing that I ever picked up, the habit that changed my life, was journaling. And the reason journaling is so powerful is because you take the internal, the mental, and make it physical. So you can fully see as you're writing down what it is that's going on through your head. Because when things are going through your head, like emotional states, like you're stressed out for a job interview, for example, and you make it physical by writing down, okay, why am I stressed out? What am I feeling? And how is this making me feel? Do I like this feeling? Where is this feeling coming from? Because certain emotions are felt in different areas of our body. Like, sometimes you could feel fear in your heart. Your heart's beating really fast. Sometimes you could feel, anger in your stomach, right? You feel these different emotions in different parts of your body. And as you write down in your journal, okay, what it is you're feeling, you can then later add and take your own advice as you would as you're giving advice to somebody else. So for example, how I do this, I'm stressed out for an exam. Oh, I got to write this exam. Instead of talking about it, I think about it. Oh, okay, how would I go about helping somebody else in this same situation? And then I basically write to myself as I would to another person. Your friend comes to you, he says, oh, Matthew, I'm stressed out for this exam. I don't know what to do. I'm so worried I'm going to fail. What are you going to tell him? You're just going to tell him, hey man, it's okay. You've been preparing, you've been really working hard towards this. At the end of the day, whatever happens. If you fail, you fail. If you pass, you pass. All you can do is, put your best input towards it, and then hopefully, and then it will work out. Like, have some sort of optimistic mindset towards it and view that you're going to make through it. But then for us, if we were going through that same experience and we didn't necessarily, want to talk to somebody about it, but, kind of deal with it ourselves, we're just going to spiral in negative thoughts. Oh, I'm going to fail this exam. Oh, I'm just going to, I'm going to be a failure. Oh, my life this. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, I'm so stressed. I'm going to, whatever it may be, the thoughts, are different for everybody else, but they're, generally and relatively the same. You get stuck in this cycle of a negative feedback loop. So the way that you get out of this is, like I mentioned, talk to yourself like you are trying to give advice to your friend so that you can take your own advice. What does this look like? Write down what it is that you're feeling and what you're experiencing. How is it making you feel? And then imagine writing to a friend. It's as simple as that. Imagine writing to a friend. So for example, I write down, oh, okay, I'm stressed for this exam. Why am I stressed? Oh, because I'm going to fail. Oh, because, what's going to happen if I don't pass? I'm going to have to retake it, etc., etc., etc. And then you write down all the things that you're worried about or the emotions that you're feeling. It may not even necessarily have to be stress. It could be, I'm sad because I feel alone. Okay, why do you feel alone? How is it making you feel? Whatever it may be. And then you just write under that description guidance and advice as you would to your best friend, for example. Like, just treat yourself and start talking to yourself like you are your best friend. And I promise that has helped me the most in, basically conquering my mind and like kind of dealing with all these emotions that we experience as human beings. And sure, you need to allow yourself to feel these things at certain times, because that's how, you don't build up that, like I talked about in my previous video, I'm not going to talk about it too much again, that emotional debt. Because most of us, we're so good at like numbing and kind of like trying to forget and not deal with the emotions that we're feeling with. But you need to feel them. You need to allow yourself, a couple of hours or like even a couple of minutes just to like, feel what it is that's upcoming and not press it down. Because what happens when we try to cope, numb, and like press down all the things that we're experiencing in this life? Pressure builds up, right? The more you compact something, the more it tends to, pressurize. And then eventually what's going to happen is going to explode. So definitely sit with the things that you're feeling. Don't just try to, kind of numb them away with like vices. And then as you write down and give yourself advice like you are your best friend, you are just going to become mentally better at doing this. And then eventually you won't need to write things down. It's just going to, your mind is just going to start operating in that way, where it's going to just become its best advice giver and best therapist. And you'll actually start learning how to take your own advice. Because like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we are so good at giving people advice. We are so good at helping other people and giving our opinion on their situations and circumstances. But then when it comes to our own, we suck. We can't take our own advice. Why? Because we haven't done the work that it takes to become our best friend, become our best therapist, to allow ourselves to have that positive relationship with our mind in order to live a more peaceful and stressless lifestyle. So I'm going to recap. Number one, notice when these things appear. Notice your emotions. After you notice them, sit with them for a while. Understand, okay, what it is that you're feeling. Once you understand what you're feeling and where its root cause is coming from, write a description on a piece of paper down, what it is that you're feeling, why you're feeling it, how it's making you feel, etc. Like the 5 W's: what, when, who, why, where, what. You know what I mean. And then write to yourself as you're giving advice to your friend. Hey man, don't worry, you're gonna get through this. Why? Because you've studied for this exam. Don't worry. The worst thing that's gonna happen is, like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna fail, and then you're just gonna redo it. Or if you fail, you fail. At the end of the day, you're still okay no matter what, right? And then as you do this enough times, you're just going to create that mental feedback loop of being your best therapist. And anytime something comes around, your mind is just going to flick into like therapy mode, where you're just going to be able to, take care of those things, no problem, without even having to write anything down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found value from it. I love you. If you're new, subscribe. Share with somebody who you think that this could help with. And I'm gonna leave you like I always do: create more than you consume. Serve others. Love everyone. Until the next one, peace.